Hey guys, so today I'm going to be showing you the process behind what I do to clean up and make some of these awesome elevator fixtures work. Now I kind of want to do some more of these elevator part related videos where I show you guys kind of what I actually do to clean these parts up, maybe make them light up, maybe give you guys some tutorials on how you can do your own part wiring, just different things like that. I'd like to do some more videos with elevator parts. So I think a good way to start this off is by taking a look at some of these vintage 1940 Schindler call stations. And we're going to clean these up and see what we can do with them. So these call stations are pretty interesting, and we'll take a look at them in depth real quick before we get started. So you can see here, this is the button. Here's the inside here. So pretty much all that happens is the button sits on the side, and then the plate goes over the top, and there's the button. These are really neat too. I've never actually seen any buttons like this before. Now, the only problem with them right now is, well, they kind of are all falling apart. There's no screws on them to hold them together. They're all dirty. You can see they're all nasty looking. So what's gonna happen here is there's two of these. Now these are from the Elevateurs Elevator Museum, and Andrew has generously donated one of them to me. So I'm actually going to be taking this one, the one that's in worse condition. He needs to have the best of the best to be in the elevator museum. So what we have here is we take a closer look at the two plates. You can see one of them has been worn a bit more. The one on the left is actually more worn than the one on the right. The one on the right, if you notice the little light here, there's a little damage to it, where this one isn't damaged. Now if we take a look on the back, this is the original one here. And you can see that it's being held on with these screws, where this one's being held on with the glue. So we're gonna start off this video by cleaning up the two plates. Alright guys, so this next step is where things are really going to start to change. This is where these buttons are going to go from being, well, kind of gross to kind of nice. So what I'm going to use is this magical stuff that will remove this gunk. So I'm just going to lay this on here like this and let it soak in. You guys will see what will happen when this stuff does its magic. Put it on all the gunk, and we just get a paper towel and watch this. So you can see there's already some progress made. There's a lot of gunk on here, and look, you can see it's starting to chip off. If I just kind of use my finger here, you can see all that chipped off. And watch what happens. Look at that, it's coming right off. Alright, so the first plate is cleaned up, and you can just see them side by side how well it's cleaned up. It's cleaned up very nicely. Now all I gotta do is just clean this one, and then we can start putting everything back together. Alright, here we go. We have the two plates all nice and clean. They look a lot better than when we started. I didn't really clean the back as much because you don't really see that. We can see that looks very nice. So the next step, let me see, this is the one that Andrew wants. So we're going to put together his plate real quick. So here's the little piece that goes right here. And this one's actually bent a little bit if you look at that. I don't know why it's like that. But anyway, so we use these little metal things here to put it back together. Okay, so you can see there it is, all mounted back in. So mine doesn't have a little screw to put on there, but you can see it just kind of fits in there because of the glue. So we're just going to leave it like that for now, and I'll try to find some small screws that'll fit. I doubt I will, but for now it'll be like this, and then I'll have to glue it back in later. Now that the plates are taken care of, we can start focusing on the actual buttons themselves. So the one on the left here is the one for Andrew, and then this is mine on the right. You can see mine's a lot more dirty and stuff. The first one we're going to work on is Andrew's here. So this one overall is pretty clean, so I think all I'm going to do is get all the extra wires out, and then tighten this together with a couple nuts. So let's go ahead and get started on cleaning up the two buttons. Alright guys, so take a look at this. You can see I pulled the side off and I've taken all the wires out. And you can see how this actually works. So there's the three parts here. So this one here is the common, I guess, if you want to say. This is the common. And you can see this one's the naturally closed. So you can see there's making a contact up here. And then naturally open is this one. You can see it goes around and down to the bottom. So when you press down the button, it makes a contact down here. Just like that. Look how that works. Isn't that interesting? So that's how these old Schindler buttons work. So let's go ahead and put it back together. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is bolt this together, and Andrew has also requested that I switch out the normal socket, this one here, and this one for historical purposes. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'm going to switch those two, and then I'm going to bolt this together, and then we're not going to put the plate on yet. I'm going to figure out a way to get an LED in here, and then we're going to wire this sucker up. So there's that. And there we have it. It's all put back together and it looks pretty good. Nice and cleaned up, and it's ready to wire. Alright, so the two little boxes here are nice and cleaned up and all put together. You can see they're all attached. I actually happen to have the right size nut for that, which was nice. So you can see here they're all cleaned up and they're ready to wire. So mine over here, if I really wanted to, I could just solder an LED between these and it would all work. But the thing is with Andrew's, I don't want to ruin or solder onto this at all, because I want to preserve the originality of this fixture. So this is where I'm going to have to get a little creative in figuring out how I want to actually put this together. I kind of have an idea of how I can use this light socket to make it work. I think I might put I might use two LEDs, I haven't decided yet, but I should be able to run this whole thing off of a little AA battery pack. So next step is to figure out how I want to put the LED in. Okay, so this is what I ended up coming up with. So I kind of shoved the LED in the side there and added a little battery box here. So you can see when you press the button down, it lights up the little LED. And then I added a piece of paper on the back to kind of distribute the light a bit more, because you could just literally see the LED in there. And now when you press it, it lights up. When we turn the light off, we can see it light up. And just due to the fact of how the LED is placed in there, it kind of lights up a little weird, but it still lights up. So I gotta do that with the other one, and then I gotta put them together. Alright, so on my button I did this a little bit differently because mine doesn't need to be preserved for originality. Mine, I just went ahead and bent the broken pieces down and soldered the LED to it, so now it'll stick on there. The only thing that's left to do is just put the wires on there and stick the battery box on. Alright, so I finished wiring this button here, and you can see I've got it where the wires are going to be able to come around the back, and the battery box is going to mount on the top. So the next step we got to do is we just got to put this one together now. And there we go. This one's all ready to go. I'm also going to do the same thing with the paper on this one, because if you see, if I place this on top, there's just that little dot in the middle, and I'd rather have the light more distributed. So I did what every other normal person would do and just tape some of the paper over. Now let's see how it looks. You can see it lights up. Turn this off. You can see this one lights up. It's more in the middle there, you can see. But it still lights up. So the last thing we have to do for these buttons is put the plates on. Now, I've got some screws here, and we're gonna see if they fit. But you can see they're really big. So I'm gonna have to tighten these down on the back side. So if we pull this up, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten all of these down on all the buttons. Okay, so after a bunch of hard work, you can see here the buttons are complete. They're all cleaned up and they look pretty awesome. And when you press the button, you can see that they light up. Now they light up a little bit weird. They don't light up completely perfect, but just the way I had to wire it, I mean, you can't really complain. They still light up and they still look really cool. So I had a lot of fun making this video and showing you guys a little bit what happens behind the scenes. If you have any suggestions or comments for future videos like this, leave them down below in the comments. I'm really curious to see what you guys think about it. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.